Money is a funny thing. You either have some of it or you have like a lot of it. And these next people have so much of it, in fact, they own an entire entity whose only function is to entertain and trigger the masses. You're about to learn where every NHL owner got their money from, coming up right after this. Today's video spot. Henry Samueli is an engineer and inventor who founded Broadcom, which makes semiconductors which you find in pretty much every electronic you use to communicate with. Samueli is the son of Polish immigrants which survived the German occupation of Poland and came to America with virtually nothing. He bought the Ducks in 2005 and promptly got rid of the Mighty Ducks name. Because Samueli agrees with me on one thing: fuck Disney. Andrew Barroway is a hedge fund manager who bought a large stake of the Coyotes in 2014. Then it looked like he was going to be thrown out as the owner, and then he ended up buying 54% of the team. He might just be a fictional character the Coyotes created so that someone could take the fall for the team going bankrupt. For all we know, Barroway could just be pretending to be an owner, just like the Yotes are pretending to be an NHL squad. Jeremy Jacobs is also the son of Polish immigrants, and his family owned a concession stand business that evolved into a global hospitality and food services empire called Delaware North. Jacobs bought the Bruins in 1975 and also built TD Garden with his own money. Jacobs is a pretty hardcore owner, and a lot of fans blame him for prolonging the 2012-2013 lockout, though everyone knows it's because Gary Bettman is an asshole. Seems like Terry Pegula pretty much owns everything in Buffalo, as he also owns the Bills. He made his money in natural gas and real estate. I also found this vintage footage of him starting the tradition you see at every Buffalo tailgate from here on out. And Murray Edwards made his money in the Canadian oil business. Basically, this dude owns a shitload of land in Alberta, which has this sand that produces oil. In 2014, a mine he owned suffered a disaster when slurry and chemicals got dumped into nearby Polly Lake, which is nothing in comparison to how bad the fucking Flames were last year. Tom Dunn Dhin is the NHL's newest owner, and he chairs Dunn Dhin Capital Partners out of Dallas. He has holdings in the financial services and entertainment industry, and his company owns 1/4 of Top Golf. Dunn Dhin bought the Hurricanes in 2017 and has now put Ron Francis down like an old dog. Brass Bonanza, here we come. Rocky Wirtz is the son of Bill Wirtz, who was maybe one of the biggest assholes ever to own an NHL franchise, as he was known as a cheapskate and miser, earning the nickname Dollar Bill. You want to know where the family money came from? Real estate and booze. Wirtz Beverage was founded in 1946, and the Hawks have been in the family since 1954. Rocky Wirtz, however, seems to have his shit together, as he ousted Dave Talon, hired Joe Quenneville, and repaired his late father's relationship with Bobby Hull. Good job on not being an asshole like your dad, who once fired a coach by slipping a note under his door. We've gone over this, and Walton Kroenke is a Walmart heiress who married billionaire real estate magnate and Weekend at Bernie's impersonator Stan Kroenke. John P. McConnell is the son of John H. McConnell, who founded steel company Worthington Industries. John took over ownership of the Blue Jackets in 2008 when his dad passed away. Looks like his history is pretty unremarkable, just like the Blue Jackets in the playoffs. Tom Gagliardi is a Canadian hotelier whose family owns Northland Properties, which own and operate hotels and restaurants throughout all of Canada. Gagliardi is connected to Texas as his mom is from Longview. I think his greatest accomplishment with the Stars is leading them out of bankruptcy and into first-round exits. The late Mike Ilitch's estate owns the Red Wings, and he built his empire in the fast food industry. I seriously have never heard anything bad about Mike Ilitch from the Detroit faithful. The pizza, however. Darrell Katz is a Canadian billionaire that made most of his money in drugs, legal drugs and pharmacies, as he started out by buying the medicine shop and kept acquiring drugstores until he was filthy rich. He tried to buy the Oilers 4 times until 2008 when they approved his bid. Katz hired Peter Chiarelli in 2015 because that's the guy you need managing young talent. Vincent Viola, aka Vinny Viola, obviously an Italian-American and former West Point grad who completed Ranger School and served with the 101st Airborne. He made his wealth in the stock market and in banking. Viola bought the Panthers in 2013, and it's been a weird 5 years for them. Kings co-owner Philip Anschutz owns a variety of businesses ranging from railroads to entertainment, and Ed Roski made his bones in commercial real estate. Anschutz co-founded the MLS and almost all the teams in the league. Roski is a former Marine whose family emigrated from Poland. Okay, that seems to be a theme here. Craig Leopold made his money in B2B telemarketing. Leipold was the original owner of the Predators but sold them and bought the Wild in 2008. Apparently he is a big-time hockey fan and must really enjoy the Wild being the Washington Capitals of the Western Conference, though that joke was written 2 weeks ago. Damn it. The Rockefellers of Canada. The Molson family has made money in the country since 1782, with their name most attached to the Molson Brewing Company, which makes decent beer. And they also own Molson's Bank, which once printed its own currency. The family, not the brewery, bought the Habs in 2009. Since then, they have been printing their own tickets out of the playoffs. Thomas Cigaran is a former healthcare executive who founded and ran Healthways Inc. and also chaired AmSurge. I did read an article on how Cigaran hates long concession lines at Preds games, so I'm down with that because it definitely sucks to have to wait an hour just to get fried catfish at a game, wherever it came from. Joshua Harris is a private equity investor who co-founded Apollo Global Management. He also owns a large stake in the 76ers. He bought the Devils in 2013. This guy really doesn't seem that interesting, but he is a big-time Trump supporter, so I guess that's where this video becomes polarizing. John Ledecky and Scott Malkin, no relation to Evgeny, were actually college roommates at Harvard in the 70s. Ledecky made his fortune in office supplies, while Malkin is an heir to a real estate kingdom that once owned the Empire State Building. The two bought the Isles from Charles Wang in 2013. Let's do this quick. James Dolan, daddy was rich and owned Cablevision. Thank God he doesn't meddle with the Rangers. However, he gave Glenn Sather carte blanche to run the team, and all we got was a finals run and the complete wasting of Lundqvist's career. Oh, and fuck James Dolan. Philadelphia Flyers, Brian L. Roberts. Brian L. Roberts is the son of Ralph Roberts, who founded Comcast. I'm sure you've heard of them. Roberts bought the Flyers in 1996, and I guess he just lets Ron Hextall do whatever he wants because it's Philly and he's Ron Hextall. Pittsburgh Penguins, Ronald Burkle and Mario Lemieux. Ronald Burkle is a private equity and venture capital investor that has holdings in food service and other industries. It's not quite clear how much of the Penguins he owns. Mario Lemieux is the only owner to ever own a team and play for them at the same time. How shitty would it be to have your boss as your line mate? Hasso Plattner is a native of Germany who co-founded software industry monolith SAP, which is fitting. The Sharks play in the SAP Center. Does SAP crash as much as the Sharks do? Tom Stillman is a lawyer who is chairman and CEO of Summit Distributing, which he started in 1994. He was a run-of-the-mill U.S. attorney before that. He bought the Blues in 2012, and I am assuming he had no idea the pile of shit and heartbreak he was stepping into when he did that. Hockey's version of Midas is hedge fund manager Jeffrey Vinnick, who hails from New Jersey and managed the Fidelity Magellan Fund before starting Vinnick Asset Management, which returned 50% or better for its first 3 years. In 2010, Vinnick purchased the Lightning and very smartly just let Steve Yzerman do whatever the fuck he wants. Let's see if Larry Tannenbaum fits any profiles here. Jewish, family immigrated from Poland. However, he made a lot of his money in construction and his family's scrap metal business. Tannenbaum owns the Raptors, Toronto FC, and a stake in the Toronto Argonauts. He bought the Leafs in 1996 and has to put up with Drizzy coming into his building and dishing out urinating tree-level jinxes to his squads. Francesco Aquilani is a Vancouver native and son of a Luigi who started an investment firm. Aquilani bought the team in 2006 but had to endure a lawsuit before he was outright awarded with the franchise. He owns real estate, Pizza Huts, energy, hotels, and playoff chokes. You knew that was coming. Bill Foley is a military brat whose dad served in the Air Force and grew up in Ottawa as his dad was stationed there. Foley would graduate from West Point and served as an officer in both the Army and the Air Force. He played the stock market in his spare time, and after serving, he became a lawyer and then a fund manager. He now owns wineries, golf courses, ski resorts, steakhouses, and already owns the Kings and the Sharks. An owner who did not have a rich daddy bestow the team on him, Ted Leonsis made his money at AOL. Who remembers AOL? Mark Shipman is a Winnipeg native whose dad owned a bunch of car dealerships in the area and leveraged that capital into True North Entertainment, which owns real estate dealerships and has other holdings. Shipman was instrumental in bringing a team back to Winnipeg as he bought the Atlanta Thrashers in 2011 and moved them up north. And finally, the Senators, Eugene Melnick. I saved Eugene Melnick for last because after researching him, I discovered he really is a phenomenal asshole. Melnick started out in medical publishing and then graduated to Big Pharma, where his company would reverse engineer generics for the marketplace, which is kinda like stealing. In 2008, he was sued for accounting fraud, and fraud is a pretty good word for this jerk who is the sole owner of the Senators whom he purchased in 2003. It's worth noting that he's from Toronto, lives in Barbados, and has no real ties to Ottawa. And he once publicly threatened to move the team if attendance didn't improve, solicited the general public when he needed a liver transplant to find a donor, and is generally hated by the fans, who even started a GoFundMe to get Melnick's ass out of ownership. They have raised a grand total of 10 G's, which I'm sure is what Melnick wipes his ass with every time he takes a shit. Fuck this dude. Well, thank you for watching my video. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and don't forget to download the FanDuel app from the link below and use my code BASEHIT10 and you will get a 20% bonus on your first deposit. I'm 5 Points Vids and you made it to the end of this video. Now go out and make yourself some money.